So Chris Eubank Jr. has signed a major partnership deal with Boxer. Interesting choice of words. Partnership deal rather than promotional deal. Now, I don't know whether Eubank Jr. insisted on this language purely for the sake of appearances, so he can look like a boss, or whether there's an actual difference between the contract he has and a standard promotional contract. Your guess is as good as mine. Now, I've been hearing all this talk about him potentially fighting Canelo Alvarez, being the front runner, and if he was going to do that, he'd obviously want to maximize his earnings, right? Because he'd be very much the B-side against Canelo. And so getting a UK broadcast deal, not that he's necessarily dealing directly with Sky, but we know that Boxer have a deal with Sky. Presumably that would benefit Eubank Jr. by way of a pay-per-view percentage for the UK. I have to imagine that Canelo would be keeping all of the pay-per-view revenue generated in the US. Now, I watched an interview with Eddie Hearn earlier on today, and he said he's spoken to Eubank Jr.'s team with a view to signing him, but he said that Eubank Jr. wanted 2 warm-up fights, and Eddie Hearn was only willing to give him 1, after which he'd have to agree to fight Conor Benn. So Eubank Jr. apparently turned that down and went with Boxer instead, who, according to Hearn, are willing to give him 2 tune-up fights. Now, if what Eddie Hearn is saying is accurate, then that would suggest that he's not, as in Eubank Jr., going to fight Canelo next. We shall see. What I will say is, I'm sick to death of this Eubank Jr. Conor Benn fight. Sick to death of it. It's like the most forced boxing match in the history of the sport. Just let it go. God damn it, Eddie. I was never massively keen on it to begin with, but at this point, I just wish it would go away. Seriously. I'd like to see Eubank Jr. go in a different direction, whether it's fight Carlos Adames, Erislandy Lara, Janabek Aleem Kanuli, or even Canelo Alvarez. Anything but Conor Benn at this point. And as for Conor Benn, well, until he faces the music, and perhaps he's doing that now, we don't know because there's radio silence. But until that point, he's not going to be fighting anyone. If he can resolve his issue, I'd like to see him, have a couple fights to get back in the swing of things and then shoot for a title shot, 147 pounds. That's my take on it. Give me your take in the comment section below. What do you think about Eubank Jr. hooking up with Boxer, signing this quote-unquote partnership deal? Do you think that's just window dressing, flowery language, or is there some substance there that makes this different to a promotional deal? Do you think Eubank Jr. is going to fight Canelo Alvarez next? Do you think he should fight Canelo Alvarez next if that opportunity is on the table? Is that what you want to see him do? Or would you prefer to see him target one of the champions at 160 pounds? Or, dare I say it, would you prefer to see him fight Conor Benn? Whatever the case may be, let me know in the comment section below. Are you sick and tired of the mainstream mindset? Does the dogmatic conformity and pathological ignorance have you tearing your hair out in frustration? Then don't be alone. Come and join our brotherhood on Patreon. We stand as a beacon of reason against an army of insanity. You'll gain access to my weekly topical podcast where we take more deep dives than Jacques Cousteau on an endless variety of subjects. There's also videos, interviews, live Q&As, as well as a vast back catalogue of previous episodes, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen via the Patreon app or download in high-quality MP3. Connect with myself and hundreds of other members in our Element chat group. There's no contract, no commitment, you can cancel at any time, and it's cheaper than a Mickey D's McMuffin. Just head to my Patreon page via the link below this video and select the tier called the Brotherhood of Reason. I'll see you over there.